Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, unexplored landscape of your inner self. Right now, in this moment, you're carrying a heavy backpack filled with endless thoughts, worries, and anxieties that have been weighing you down for years. Each thought is like a stone, adding pressure, making every step more difficult than it needs to be. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight. Can you sense how these repetitive thoughts have been controlling your life? How they've been stealing your peace, your joy, your ability to truly connect with others? Overthinking isn't just a mental habit. It's a spiritual blockage that prevents you from experiencing life's most profound connections. It's a barrier that separates you from your authentic self and from meaningful relationships. Let me share a powerful truth. Your mind is a magnificent tool, but it was never meant to be your master. It's meant to be your servant, your ally in creating a life of purpose, love, and genuine connection. Think about the last time you were completely present. When was the last moment you weren't trapped in a maze of what-ifs and endless mental scenarios? When did you last just breathe, just be, just connect? Most people live their entire lives never experiencing true presence. They're constantly trapped in a mental time machine, either revisiting past pain or projecting future anxieties. But not you, not anymore. Our journey today is about liberation. It's about breaking free from the chains of overthinking and building relationships that are raw, real, and transformative. Relationships aren't built through perfect conversations or calculated interactions. They're created through vulnerability, through showing up exactly as you are with all your beautiful imperfections. Consider how overthinking destroys genuine connection. When you're lost in your thoughts, you're not truly listening. You're not truly seeing the person in front of you. Your mind is busy constructing narratives, judging, analyzing, instead of simply being. Imagine a conversation where you're fully present, where every word, every silence, every subtle gesture is received with complete attention. That's where real magic happens. That's where souls truly meet. Our modern world is designed to keep us disconnected. Technology, constant notifications, social media, they're all engineered to fragment our attention to keep us in a state of perpetual distraction. We become experts at curating external images while our internal world remains fragmented and unexplored. We share carefully filtered photos but struggle to share our authentic selves. The first step in transforming your relationships is transforming your relationship with yourself. And that begins by understanding the nature of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. They are simply mental events passing through the vast space of your consciousness. Just like clouds move across the sky, thoughts move through your mind. The sky doesn't become the clouds. Similarly, you are not your thoughts. When you truly grasp this, something miraculous happens. You create space. Space to observe, space to choose, space to respond rather than react. Overthinking is essentially a form of resistance. Resistance to what is? Resistance to the present moment. It's your ego's way of trying to control the uncontrollable, to predict the unpredictable. But life doesn't follow our mental scripts. The most beautiful moments arrive unannounced, unexpected. They emerge when we surrender our need to control every outcome. In the next sections of our journey, we'll explore practical, transformative strategies to break free from overthinking and build relationships that nourish your soul. We're not just talking about techniques. We're discussing a complete internal revolution. Are you ready to shed the weight of endless mental chatter? Are you prepared to step into a life of genuine connection, of profound presence? This is more than a speech. This is an invitation to a radical transformation. Part 2. Dismantling the overthinking machinery. Let's get practical. How exactly do we stop this relentless mental machinery that keeps spinning, spinning, spinning? First, understand that overthinking is a learned behavior. It's not an innate part of your being. Just like you learned to ride a bicycle or speak a language, you can learn to quiet your mind. Imagine your mind is a powerful computer. Right now, it's running multiple unnecessary background programs, consuming energy, slowing down your system. Our goal is to close those unnecessary applications and optimize your mental performance. One of the most powerful tools in combating overthinking is awareness. not judgment, not criticism, pure compassionate awareness. When you catch yourself spiraling into repetitive thoughts, simply acknowledge it. Oh, here I am overthinking again. No drama, no self-punishment, just gentle recognition. Think of this awareness like a soft spotlight. You're not attacking the thoughts. You're simply illuminating them, observing them without getting entangled. Meditation isn't about emptying your mind. It's about creating a spacious awareness where thoughts can arise and dissolve without your constant engagement. It's like watching waves on an ocean. They come, they go, but the ocean remains out. But meditation doesn't mean sitting in a perfect lotus position for hours. It can be as simple as taking 3 conscious breaths when you feel overwhelmed. 3 breaths can reset your entire nervous system. Consider practicing what I call thought labeling. When a recurring thought emerges, label it. Planning thought, worry thought, criticism thought. This simple act creates instant distance between you. Our relationships suffer most when we're mentally absent. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person is physically present but mentally miles away? It feels disconnected, unsatisfying. And true listening is a form of love. It requires us to be fully present, to set aside our internal narratives and truly hear another person's experience. When we overthink, we're essentially saying to the universe, I don't trust the unfolding of life. We're trying to control outcomes through mental rehearsal, through endless scenario planning. But life is infinitely more intelligent than our limited mental constructs. The most beautiful connections happen when we surrender our need to control and instead remain open, curious, create thought boundaries, designate specific times for planning and problem solving. Outside those times, practice letting thoughts pass without engagement. Your mind is like a garden. Overthinking is like allowing weeds to grow unchecked. Meditation and awareness are your gardening tools. You're not destroying the garden. You're cultivating it with care, intention, and love. The artifact continues with the remaining 3 sections, maintaining the same depth, emotional resonance, and transformative messaging. Would you like me to continue with the next sections? Imagine your mind as a vast landscape where thoughts are like weather patterns. Some days are cloudy with anxiety, others are stormy with endless mental chatter. But beneath all of this, there's an essential calm, a fundamental peace that exists regardless of the mental turbulence. Right now, you might be feeling overwhelmed. You might believe that your thoughts are an immovable mountain, that your tendency to overthink is somehow hardwired into your very being. But here's a radical truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the vast, spacious awareness that witnesses those thoughts. Think about the last time you felt truly connected in a relationship. Not just physically present, but spiritually, emotionally aligned. Chances are, in those moments, your mind was quiet, you were fully present, you were listening not just with your ears, but with your entire being. Overthinking destroys connection faster than anything else. It's like trying to have a deep conversation while simultaneously watching television, checking your phone, and planning tomorrow's schedule. You're physically there, but nobody's home. Let's talk about something profound. Every time you get lost in overthinking, you're essentially telling the universe that you don't trust its unfolding. You're trying to control what cannot be controlled, predict what cannot be predicted. Relationships are living, breathing entities. They're not mathematical equations to be solved. They're not problems to be fixed. They're dynamic, organic experiences that require presence, vulnerability, and radical acceptance. Consider the energy you spend rehearsing conversations that never happen. The scenarios you create in your mind, the arguments you have with people who aren't even in the room. What if you redirected that energy into actual, genuine connection? Create intentional spaces of mental quietude. This isn't about forcing your mind to be silent. It's about creating gentle boundaries, about learning to observe your thoughts without becoming them. Imagine your thoughts as clouds passing through a vast sky. The sky doesn't try to hold on to the clouds. It doesn't fight them. It simply allows them to move, to transform, to dissolve. You are that sky. Your thoughts are merely temporary visitors. When we overthink, we're essentially living in a state of perpetual resistance. Resistance to what is? Resistance to the present moment. We're so busy trying to control the future or analyze the past that we miss the only moment that truly exists right now. Practical transformation begins with radical acceptance. Accept that some things are beyond your control. Accept that relationships are co-created, not manipulated. Accept that your worth is not determined by perfectly managing every interaction. Let's break down the mechanics of overthinking. It often stems from deep-seated fears, fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, fear of not being enough. These fears create mental defense mechanisms that keep us trapped in endless loops of analysis. But what if you could see these fears not as enemies, but as wounded parts of yourself seeking compassion? What if, instead of fighting your tendency to overthink, you could approach it with radical kindness? Imagine holding your overthinking mind like a scared child, not with judgment, but with profound understanding. I see you. I hear you. You're trying to protect me, but we're safe now. This isn't about eliminating thoughts. It's about changing your relationship with them. Thoughts will always come. The question is, will you be their prisoner or their compassionate observer? In relationships, overthinking manifests as constant interpretation. We're so busy trying to decode hidden meanings, to anticipate reactions, that we miss the actual human being in front of us. We create elaborate stories about what someone might be thinking. But here's the truth: most human experiences are far simpler and more genuine than our complicated mental narratives. People mostly want to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted exactly as they are. Communication isn't about crafting the perfect response. It's about creating a space of genuine listening, a space where both people feel safe to be vulnerable, to show their authentic selves. Consider the energy you bring into interactions. Are you arriving with an agenda? Are you already planning your next statement while the other person is speaking, or are you truly present, truly listening? Listening is a form of love. It's a radical act of connection. When you listen without preparing your response, without judging, without trying to fix, something magical happens. People feel seen. They feel honored. Your mind will resist this. It will want to jump in, to analyze, to control. But each time you notice this impulse and choose presence instead, you're rewiring your entire relational blueprint. This is not about achieving perfection. This is about progress, about creating tiny moments of genuine connection, about learning to trust the unfolding of life, of relationships, of your own beautiful, imperfect journey. Breathe into this moment. Feel the spaciousness within you, the part of you that is beyond thought, beyond fear, beyond overthinking. That's your true essence. That's where real connection happens. Imagine relationships as living ecosystems, not mechanical transactions. Each connection is a delicate dance of energy, vulnerability, and mutual understanding. Your tendency to overthink is like a toxic chemical disrupting this natural flow, preventing genuine growth and connection. We've been conditioned to believe that protecting ourselves means building walls. But true protection comes from understanding, from cultivating inner peace, from learning to be authentically present. Think about the relationships that have truly nourished your soul. Chances are they weren't perfect, they weren't carefully managed or controlled. They were raw, honest, sometimes messy, but fundamentally real. Meaningful connections require something radical. The willingness to be seen, not the curated version of yourself you present to the world, not the version filtered through social expectations, but your genuine, imperfect, beautifully human self. Let's explore a profound truth. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the most courageous act of human connection. When you show up exactly as you are, with your fears, your hopes, your beautiful contradictions, you create space for genuine intimacy. Overthinking is essentially a defense mechanism. It's your mind's attempt to protect you from potential hurt, from uncertainty. But in doing so, it creates the very isolation it's trying to prevent. Consider the energy you spend constructing mental barriers. Imagine redirecting that energy into actual connection. What would change if you approached relationships with curiosity instead of fear? Every time you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, ask yourself a simple question. What am I truly afraid of right now? Most of the time, you'll discover the fear is far less substantial than the mental story you've constructed. Relationships are not about being perfect. They're about being present, They're about creating a sacred space where two imperfect humans can meet with authenticity, compassion, and genuine understanding. Your mind will resist this. It will want to analyze, to protect, to control. But each moment of presence is a radical act of love. Each time you choose to listen without judgment, you're creating a different kind of connection. Think about communication not as an exchange of words, but as an exchange of energy. What energy are you bringing into your interactions? Are you arriving with openness or with a shield of overthinking? There's a difference between thinking and awareness. Thinking is a mental process that often keeps you trapped in past or future. Awareness is a spacious presence that allows life to unfold. Practical wisdom for building meaningful relationships. First, practice radical self-acceptance. The quality of your external relationships will never exceed the quality of your relationship with yourself. When you learn to embrace your own imperfections, you create space for others to do the same. Second, develop emotional intelligence. This isn't about managing emotions, but about understanding them. Emotions are messengers. They carry wisdom. When you learn to listen to them without judgment, you become more authentic in your connections. Third, create boundaries that come from love, not fear. Boundaries are not walls. They're expressions of self-respect. They're about clearly communicating your needs while remaining open and compassionate. Fourth, practice active listening. This means listening not just to respond, but to truly understand. It means setting aside your internal narrative and being fully present with the other person's experience. Fifth, embrace uncertainty. Relationships are living, breathing experiences. They cannot be controlled or predicted. The moment you try to force an outcome is the moment you disconnect from the natural flow of human connection. Sixth, cultivate inner peace. Your internal state determines the quality of your external relationships. When you're calm internally, you create a different kind of presence. You become a source of stability and comfort for others. Seventh, practice forgiveness, both of others and yourself. Holding on to past hurts is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It's about releasing the mental and emotional burden that keeps. Eighth, recognize that everyone is fighting their own internal battle. When someone shows up imperfectly, they're not attacking you. They're simply navigating their own human experience. Ninth, learn to communicate with compassion. This means speaking your truth without making the other person wrong. It means expressing your needs and feelings without blame or judgment. 10th, understand that connection is not about agreement. It's about creating a space of mutual respect where different perspectives can coexist without creating conflict. 11th, practice gratitude. Acknowledge the beauty in your relationships, even the challenging ones. Every interaction is an opportunity for growth, for understanding, for expanding your capacity to love. 12th, trust the journey. Meaningful relationships are not destinations. They are ongoing experiences of mutual growth, of learning, of expanding your capacity for love and understanding. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the energy of connection. It's not something you create. It's something you allow. It's about removing the barriers, the overthinking, the fear, and simply being present. This is your invitation to a different way of relating. Not through mental strategies, but through genuine presence. Not through control, but through surrender. Not through fear, but through love. Imagine your inner world as a vast unexplored landscape. Most people spend their entire lives walking the same well-worn paths, never venturing into the rich, unexplored territories of their own consciousness. Overthinking is like building walls that prevent you from discovering the extraordinary terrain of your true self. Right now, you're carrying generations of inherited patterns. Fears passed down through family lines, beliefs that were never truly yours, expectations that have nothing to do with your authentic journey. What would change if you could see these patterns as simply energy, not as immovable truths, but as temporary experiences passing through your awareness? Consider the weight of unexamined beliefs. They're like invisible chains, constraining your ability to connect, to love, to truly experience life. Each time you overthink, you're reinforcing these chains, making them stronger, more restrictive. But here's a radical possibility. You can choose differently. In this moment, you have the power to interrupt patterns that have controlled you for years, perhaps decades. Transformation isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about creating space between your thoughts and your true essence. It's about recognizing that you are not the story your mind tells you. You are the vast, compassionate awareness witnessing that story. Let's explore something profound. Most of our suffering comes from resistance. Resistance to what is? Resistance to our current experience. Resistance to ourselves. Imagine releasing that resistance. Not by fighting it, but by bringing it into the light of compassionate awareness. What if every overthinking moment was an invitation to deeper understanding? Your mind will resist this. It will want to argue, to defend, to maintain control. But each time you notice this impulse and choose presence instead, you're creating a different neural pathway. You're rewiring your entire relational blueprint. Think about the relationships that have truly transformed you. They weren't about perfection. They were about moments of genuine presence. Moments when two souls meet beyond the noise of overthinking, beyond the barriers of fear. Healing doesn't happen through mental manipulation. It happens through radical acceptance, through creating a compassionate space where your wounded parts can be seen, heard, understood. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the energy beneath your thoughts. There's a profound stillness waiting, a peace that exists regardless of the mental chatter. This is your true nature. This is where real connection begins. Consider the energy you spend trying to control outcomes, trying to predict, trying to manage every possible scenario. What if you redirected that energy into actual living? Relationships are not problems to be solved. They are experiences to be lived. They are opportunities for growth, for understanding, for expanding your capacity to love. Your overthinking mind will create elaborate stories. Stories of potential rejection. Stories of not being enough. Stories of future pain. But these are just stories. They are not reality. Reality is this moment, right now, the breath moving through your body, the subtle sensations of being alive, the potential for connection that exists in every interaction. Practical wisdom for inner transformation. First, develop a compassionate relationship with your mind. See your thoughts as passing clouds. They're not who you are. They're simply mental events moving through the vast sky of your awareness. Second, create intentional pauses. When you notice overthinking beginning, take 3 conscious breaths. Feel the space between thoughts. This simple act can interrupt years of habitual pattern. Third, practice radical self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a beloved friend, with kindness, with understanding, with profound acceptance. Fourth, recognize that your worth is not determined by your thoughts. Your worth is inherent. It exists beyond mental constructs, beyond achievements, beyond others' perceptions. Fifth, embrace uncertainty. Life cannot be controlled. The most beautiful moments arrive unexpected, unplanned. When you learn to trust the unfolding, you create space for magic. Sixth, understand that healing is not linear. Some days will be easier than others. Some moments will feel like a step backward. But there are no true setbacks, only opportunities for deeper understanding. Seventh, cultivate a practice of gentle awareness. Not judgment, not criticism, simply noticing. Watching your thoughts like a kind, compassionate observer. Eighth, recognize that your past does not define your present. Each moment is an opportunity for complete reinvention. Each breath is a chance to choose differently. Ninth, understand that vulnerability is strengths. Showing up exactly as you are, with your fears, your hopes, your beautiful imperfections, is the most courageous act of human experience. 10th, trust your inner wisdom. Beneath the noise of overthinking, there's a profound intelligence, a knowing that exists beyond mental construct. Your invitation is simple. Not to eliminate thoughts, not to achieve some perfect state of mind, but to create a compassionate space of awareness, to learn to be with your experience exactly as it is. This is your journey, your invitation to a different way of being, a way of presence, of love, of radical acceptance. Imagine standing at the threshold of your most authentic self, not the self constructed by fears, expectations, or endless mental chatter, but the raw, powerful essence of who you truly are. Every breath is an invitation to release, an invitation to begin again. An invitation to step into a way of being that transcends your current limitations. Overthinking is a form of spiritual exhaustion. It's your soul's way of crying out for liberation. Each repetitive thought is a signal, a profound message asking you to wake up, to become fully present. Consider the energy you've spent fighting against yourself, trying to be perfect, trying to control, trying to predict every possible outcome. What would change if you redirected that energy into living? Your mind is a powerful tool, but it was never meant to be your master. It's a servant waiting to be guided by your deeper wisdom. The wisdom that exists beyond thought. The wisdom that lives in your heart, in your body, in the spaces between breath. Relationships are not about managing external experiences. They're about internal transformation. They're about becoming so fully present that you create a field of possibility around you. Close your eyes. Feel the vast space within you. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the endless mental commentary, there's a profound stillness. That stillness is your true home. Every time you catch yourself overthinking, you're being given a gift. An opportunity to choose differently. An opportunity to return to presence. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating on a river. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to control them. Simply observe. Let them flow. Recognize that you are the river, not the leaves. The most profound connections happen in moments of complete presence, when two souls meet beyond the barriers of fear, beyond the noise of overthinking. Your journey is not about becoming something. It's about unbecoming everything that is not truly you. Stripping away the layers of conditioning, releasing the stories that no longer serve you. Practical wisdom for embracing your true potential. First, recognize that your worth is not negotiable. It is not determined by your thoughts, your achievements, or others' perceptions. You are inherently valuable, exactly as you are. Second, develop a relationship with silence, not as something to fear, but as a sacred space of renewal. Silence is where your deepest wisdom resides. Third, practice radical acceptance. Accept your thoughts without judgment. Accept your experiences without resistance. Accept yourself with profound compassion. Fourth, understand that growth is not linear. Some days will feel like a step backward, but there are no true setbacks. Only opportunities for deeper understanding. Fifth, cultivate curiosity about yourself, about others, about life. Curiosity dissolves judgment. It creates space for genuine connection. Sixth, recognize that your past does not define you. Each moment is an opportunity for complete reinvention. Each breath is a chance to choose differently. Seventh, trust the intelligence of your body. Your mind is not the only source of wisdom. Your body carries profound knowledge. Learn to listen. Eighth, create boundaries from a place of love, not as walls of protection, but as expressions of self-respect. Boundaries are acts of compassion for yourself and others.
Ninth, embrace vulnerability. It is not weakness. It is the most courageous act of human experience, to show up exactly as you are, with your fears, your hopes, your beautiful imperfect.
10th, understand that you are not alone. Your struggles, your fears, your overthinking, they are universal human experiences. Connection begins with recognizing our shared humanity.
11th, practice gratitude, not as a mental exercise, but as a profound way of being. See the miracle in each moment, in each breath, in each opportunity for connection.
12th, trust the journey. Life is not a problem to be solved. It is an experience to be lived fully, deeply, with complete presence. Your overthinking mind will resist this invitation. It will create stories of why this is impossible, why you are not enough, why transformation is too difficult. But beneath those stories, there's a truth, a profound, unchanging essence that has always been waiting for you to remember, waiting for you to return home to yourself. This is your moment, your invitation to step into a different way of being, not through struggle, not through force, but through gentle, compassionate awareness. Breathe, feel, allow. You are more than your thoughts. You are the vast, limitless awareness witnessing those thoughts. This is your time, your beautiful, imperfect, extraordinary journey. Embrace it.